In this episode, I'm visiting the biggest gold mine in New Zealand, Macraes Mine in eastern Otago, where hundreds of men and women work above ground and below, while operating some of the biggest machinery in the country and deploy cutting-edge science to produce hard-won gold. I'm Patrick Phelps. My father was a miner, my grandfather was a miner. In this series, I'm taking you where most Kiwis never get to go.
We're live on all cams.
Inside Aotearoa's working mine sites, so you can meet the miners. With such a big operation at Macraes, it was hard to know where to begin. So I thought I'd start at the top, with an overview from the mine's general manager, James.
So it's 10,000 hectares, and we've mined a series of pits throughout the years, ranging from Golden Bar right down in the south all the way up to Coronation, which is up in the north. Open pit operation, underground operation, even world scale, it's pretty significant mining operation. Been here since 1990, so 35 years. I think we poured over 5.5 million ounces during that time. Second largest employer in the region, behind the University of Otago. We've got over 700 employees up here on site. We can have between 80 to 100 contractors on any given day.
Part of managing such a big mine means managing a potentially big impact. The team at Macraes is required to satisfy more than 4,000 resource consent conditions, enough to keep anyone busy.
Water quality is a big one. We do a lot of weed control, pest control. We've got a number of ecological covenant areas as offsets to our mining operations, and some of them might be around different types of vegetation, conservation of lizards and other wildlife.
While Macraes is something to behold now, when it started out in 1990, it was a smaller operation that was only expected to endure for about 7 or 8 years. But the miners here have managed to extend the life of Macraes through the discovery of additional gold deposits, including following bodies of ore underground, and through their impressive ability to mine and process even low-grade ore profitably and efficiently where others might have struggled.
We've proven over a number of years that we're able to efficiently mine the open pit, mine the underground and process the material.
James originally came to Macraes as the underground mine manager, having followed in the family tradition.
My father's a mining engineer, so I grew up living in mining towns and mining communities.
After graduating as a mining engineer in New South Wales, James's career took him to operations across Australia and fly-in fly-out roles in Indonesia. Then, as priorities changed somewhat, Otago.
I've got a young family with 3 kids, and I wanted to spend some more time with them, and that's sort of led me here. You can live in somewhere like Dunedin, Oamaru, or anywhere in between, and be able to go home every night after work.
I let James get back to his work and caught one of Macraes' fleet of 21 Caterpillar 789D dump trucks heading down the Inns Mills open pit. Like a lot of things around here, these trucks are big. Weighing in at over 320 tonnes, they stand 6.5 metres tall and 7 metres wide. And they can cart more than 180 tonnes of rock. I asked the driver of this one, Cam, what his days look like.
Honestly, it just depends on the day, and it depends sort of where you end up. You'll go get a load of ore and then you might do a few loads of that, and you'll go and do a load of waste, and you might be on waste for the rest of the day. You might be on a wee short run, you might do a big long run. It's just mine control will just send you wherever they want, really.
The mine control Cam mentioned is the central control room, which effectively runs this entire operation, using walkie-talkies, on-site cameras, and a set of high-tech tools tracking and communicating to each and every operator and machine.
This tablet here just tells us what we're doing and where we're going, and got all sorts of brake temperatures and bits and pieces and the weight of how much the truck's carrying. It does a lot more than that, but basically in a nutshell it's just the brains of what's going on in here.
Like many Macraes staff, Cam works 7 days on, 7 days off. Right now, he's using some of that week off to complete his bricklaying apprenticeship.
So I'll do 7 here, and then I do sort of 3 or 4 on my weeks off, finishing my apprenticeship, and then have the weekend off. and then come back and do it all again.
So you give yourself a bit of a break?
A wee bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's all good. You know, you drive a truck around for 7 days, you want to do something physical on your weeks off. You know, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, that makes plenty of sense.
Not far from where Cam and I were parked up was one of the biggest diggers I've ever seen. The Hitachi 3600, weighing in at 360 tonnes. On the shoulders of this giant today was Michaela, who invited me on board.
So I've been here now for, I'll be 6 years at the end of this year, and I've been in the digger for maybe 2 years.
What did you first do out of school?
Hamden Foursquare, which is about half an hour maybe from here. It is well known for its big ice creams.
The digger operators here load an average of 16 trucks per hour. A good operator, in good conditions, can do over 22. And it turns out there is a bit of rivalry about who does it best.
And the big boys' toys is definitely healthy competition. It's a lot of fun because then I get to have the banter with them and, you know, try and beat them. I like to sort of prove myself that I can still beat them sometimes.
Michaela started out at Macraes like many people do, driving trucks, and wasn't planning on becoming a digger operator.
I never thought that I'd get the chance to go on a digger. I just didn't think it was possible, so I never had my mind set on it. There was an opportunity opened up, and while I was scared at the start, I thought I might as well give it a go. I'll either succeed or it wouldn't be for me.
Michaela's not only the third generation of her family to work in mining, she's the third generation to work at Macraes.
My dad was a digger operator as well, and my granddad, he was a wheeldozer operator.
Having not long bought a house just up the road in Dunback, Michaela's not planning on giving up her seat anytime soon.
So a lot of people see Macraes as a stepping stone to go overseas, but I don't see that in my future at all.
Just like being here?
Yeah, I'll just be here, close to the family, one day settle down and have kids of my own.
After seeing what's happening on the surface from Michaela's cab, next up, I get a chance to explore the other side of Macraes gold mine.
Underground's a lot better. You can just ask anyone and they'll tell you that.
And before I leave, I'll be helping fire up the furnace to pour a bar of Macraes gold. I'm Patrick Phelps, and I'm visiting Macraes, New Zealand's largest gold mine. Having seen the open pit, I'm about to go underground, but not before a quick chat with Project Superintendent Ted.
I think we've got about 32 kilometres of tunnel at the moment in Golden Point Underground. It started with the first cut, which was only about 1 metre, and there's been some hard yards of big tears getting to that point.
If you're wondering why there's an underground operation at all, it comes back to cost and returns. When a relatively high-grade ore body dips deeper and deeper below the surface, this increases the amount of overburden above it. If the miners persist with open cast methods, this means more earth moving and cost to recover that gold.
It gets to a point where too much overburden is just not cost effective.
While it can cost more up front to develop underground gold deposits compared with open pits, higher grades of ore make it worthwhile.
Open pit does bulk tonnes, but we do smaller tonnes high grade. So we produce a very small amount compared to the open pit, but yeah, our grade pushes us up a bit.
I couldn't wait to see it myself. So I hitched a ride in one of the underground dump trucks. Its operator, Stas, is 7 months into her career underground.
I was farming before that, and before that I was an early childhood teacher. And I was an early childhood teacher from when I was 18 for 13 years.
Oh, sure.
But I kind of always kept going back to farming. Went mustering in the outback of Australia for a bit.
I asked Stas how steep the learning curve is when getting up to speed with a truck like this.
Usually it's more helpful if you have like articulated vehicle experience, just to understand how the truck bends and turns and everything like that. Because I come from farming, I felt like it It was the same as driving a tractor with jewels on through a gateway all day. Just having something either side of you, basically driving down a gateway for 2.5 kilometres. That's how I sort of imagined it when I started.
Stas's role here is to descend down the deep, dark tunnels to the face and collect a load of 50 tonnes from the bogger, a specialised underground loader, before carting it back to the surface. It might not be the job for everyone, but Stas has enjoyed her career shift.
I like a challenge, like a bit of variety, you know, that sort of thing. So underground certainly offers that. You know, it's not a cushy job. You always get dirty. And so it was kind of like going farming, but you're underground and you're counting out dirt instead of sheep sort of thing.
Stas told me her next goal is to get into a bogger, and I was keen to talk to an operator myself, and not just to talk about a certain incident with one of our GoPros. But first, I spotted a jumbo operator boring holes into a new length of tunnel, or heading as they're called down here. I asked him for the rundown on this all-purpose multi-tool of underground mining.
So this is a Sandvik jumbo. It's got 2 booms, so you bore headings with it, and then also put up the bolts of mesh that you can see there that makes the ground supported to work under.
And what are its different functions?
You got your controls here, so you obviously can lift it up and down, slow it side to side. It can zoom in and out. You have a drifter on it which has rotation, percussion, which is like hammer, and then feed, so you put it in and bring it back out. So you do a combination of those sort of movements and you get it to do what you want.
What the Macraes underground team want is a constant flow of mine development as they work through the gold-bearing ore body. Maury and the other jumbo operators start by drilling out holes in the face, where the charge team will lay explosives.
The charge boys come in after me and they'll charge it and blow it up. And then the re-entry crew on night shift will come down, they water down dust and just makes it all safer for breathing and dust extraction and all that. And then boggers will come in and start bogging the dirt out, and then it'll just be sort of a bare rock heading, hopefully with a nice profile, and we'll start again.
It turns out Maury is more than used to starting again himself.
I've got a commerce degree in management, so...
So you've done a commerce degree, then you went and got into mining, then you went into the building apprenticeship, and now you're back on a jumbo, yeah.
And I like this the best, so...
Leaving Maury to do what he likes best, I took my chance to catch a nearby bogger, in between loading trucks in the darkness. This mine uses remote-controlled boggers, with operators on the surface, which are particularly useful in potentially hazardous areas. But this bogger was under the full control of in-the-flesh operator, Brad, who gave me the rundown on these machines.
Very much like any other loader or any joystick machine. You could compare it to a little bobcat, but yeah, you sit sideways. Big bucket at one end and a big engine and moving parts at the back.
While Brad makes navigating a giant bogger down a dark and narrow tunnel look easy, he hasn't actually been working in this specific role for very long at all.
This is actually my first week doing development bogging, so...
Oh shoot, really? Yeah, man, had you driven a lot of loaders before this or not?
Yeah, I've been in and out of lots of machines since I was a young fella. Eh?
Someone with Brad's experience could operate machines almost anywhere, and he has indeed worked on mining and civil projects on both sides of the Tasman Sea. I asked him what drew him to Macraes.
It's an awesome environment underground, like a great team environment. I mean, you meet some great guys and I don't know, you just go down in the dark, you do your day's job, everything goes fast and then you roll on out, you know, it's cool.
Brad is based in Manapoti, and he rents a house close by with other underground workers during his 7-day shift at Macraes. I asked how that works for him and his family.
Great, as soon as I get out, I mean, my son's got my week planned for me before I even get home. Looking forward to going for a ski and a snowboard soon in the winter. There's never a dull moment.
With Brad needed for another load, I said my goodbyes and made my way back to the surface. Where next up, I meet some of the locals with the Macraes environmental team.
So that's awesome, that's what we want to see in the streams.
And see how this processing plant turns tons of rock into ounces of gold. When Macraes Gold Mine in Otago was set up back in 1990, its developers initially assumed a mine life of 7 or 8 years. At 35 years young, its longevity is due in no small part to geologists like Cam.
As we mine, obviously, we use up resource. We're trying to replace that resource by looking down dip, targeting mineralisation beyond where we already know it is. We might start with mapping the geology first, understand the rocks, and then we think, oh, there's potential for something here, we'll do some soil sampling. If there's gold there, we'll follow up with some drilling.
This particular exploration has been made viable thanks to a surging gold price.
Right here we're looking at expanding the old Coronation North open pit. Original calculation said it was uneconomic. Now, current gold price, it is economic and it is worth exploring.
To be able to expand here, or even just operate where they are already, Macraes has to gain resource consents from local and national authorities and comply with the conditions. A big part of that is the management of the potential impacts on air, water and land, including plants and animals. This is where Avi and the environmental team come in. She took me out on a bug hunt in one of the 28 streams she monitors around the mine site.
So we're looking at the water quality, and this is just one way that we can monitor and manage that, is looking at the invertebrate community that lives in the streams.
And so the looking began.
Stir this up, all the invertebrates and bugs live under these rocks.
After a few shakes, we pulled up the net to inspect our first haul.
That's a really good sign. That big critter in the bottom there with legs.
Oh yeah.
Commonly referred to as a toe biter. So we know that this guy lives in streams that are of a higher quality.
Right.
And you can see why he gets that name toe biter.
After practicing a little toe biter catch and release, Avi took me over to a site where Macraes had re-established rock tours for local lizard species to inhabit.
Yeah, when we go in and look at mining an area, we actually have to relocate the lizards. So we've got a lot of projects like that on the go, and then we also do things to replace habitat and create it for them to move into. We always make sure that they're north facing, so this gets straight sun all summer. And then in the back you can see that we've insulated with the soil and the tussock. These plants are all food for them, the wee berries, and then the tussock and the soil provide shelter and warmth.
Out of the way of the lizards and the wind, Avi told me how she ended up here at Macraes.
Otago's home. Mum and Dad have always been in Dunedin, so yeah, this is my region. I've come from a marine science background, and I finished studying and was a bit bored, so signed up with a recruitment agency that placed me out at the mine, and kind of from there ended up getting into the environment team, which has been amazing. There's 8 of us, which is quite a big size for the mine, but we've got a big area, so we've got a lot to do.
I didn't have long left at Macraes, but I just had time for a whirlwind tour of the processing plant.
And that has 125 mil balls.
With up to 100 staff working just in this processing plant, I would need some help getting my head around all the moving parts.
And we try to get it to talcum powder safe.
Okay, right.
Metallurgist Gawa kindly gave me a basic overview.
So for the ore that we've got that comes from the mines, it goes through 8 different stages. So we got the crushing and then comminution, and then goes through flotation, pressure oxidation, CIL, carbon and leach, and then elution circuit, and then goes through the electrowinning, and then eventually the smelting.
The smelting of the gold bars is done in Macraes Gold Room.
So when it goes through the gold room, basically it's all highly concentrated dissolved gold or liquid gold.
Before I followed that liquid gold, I wanted to know more about Gawa's role in this incredibly complex process.
So as a metallurgist, I see the processing plant and the whole process like baking a cake. We've got all the ingredients, and then we've got the recipes that the metallurgist comes up with all the different steps. The operators, they run the plant according to that recipe. We're always trying to keep optimizing to make sure that what we're baking, the gold, is of a higher degree in terms of its purity, and also we get more of it.
with a taste for gold I could no longer ignore, I followed the cake batter through the plant and made my way to the gold room, where the men in spacesuits had already fired up the furnace in preparation for a pour. While we waited for things to heat up, I asked gold room supervisor, Tom, to take me through how the liquid gold becomes a solid bar.
Basically, the liquid gold comes into this room. We pass it through our electro-wind cells. In our cells, we have frames with steel wool. We put an electrical current through, and the gold deposits onto the steel wool. We put it in an oven where it dries, and we'll chop it up and add some flux reagents. We can then load it into the crucible, and we heat it up for sort of 2 hours. And it gets up to a bit over 1,000 degrees, 1,064 degrees before it's molten enough to pour into the moulds. You'll see when we pour that it all looks the same in the cascade moulds, but there's only gold in the first one. The gold's heavy and it sinks, and the slag, which is essentially the steel wool and other impurities, fills up the rest of the moulds.
I asked Tom how he ended up pouring gold bars in Otago.
I've been here with the company for 14 years now.
Oh, yeah, what were you doing before?
I was actually at university studying tourism and economics, but that's another story. It's been a great place to work, and I've stayed here, yeah.
With the furnace now up to temperature, it was time for the gold to flow.
Just as Tom has described, the first mould filled up with the heavy gold, and the lighter slag flowed over the top and down into the others. The now solid but still hot bar was taken to the water bath for quenching, and then given a scrub down with the needle gun. Once the cleanup was over, Macraes' most newly minted bar was weighed and finally stamped. It's not every day you get a chance to hold a freshly poured 18 kilogram gold bar, and I wasn't going to miss this opportunity.
Quite heavy. I'll put that down carefully. It's quite hard because you're only really holding it with your fingers as you place it down. So.
Safe to say, my day had peaked. It was time to say goodbye to the guys in the gold room and the rest of the Macraes gold mine crew. Thanks to everyone who helped make this visit possible, and to those who shared a little glimmer of their story with us. Make sure you join us next time as we continue to meet the miners.